Hello pupils and parents, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to solve the 2019 NECO National Common Entrance Examination. But before solving it, I would like you to bear some things in mind. The first thing is that don't try cramming or advising your kids to cram it. Make sure you understand it or advise them to understand it, because every year has its own question, right? Even though some questions are often repeated. So just note that this video is to guide you or to guide them to prepare for the subsequent examination, and also to clarify them or clarify you on some topics you might or they might be having challenges. Secondly, I will try my possible best to explain it in a simpler language, but in case you are confused or lost, you can pause the video and preview it carefully. And lastly, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let's give it a try. Now, one thing you should note here is that the exam is usually into section, that is part A and part B. The part A is mathematics and basic science, while the part B is English and social studies. But in this video we're going to focus basically on the part A, which is the mathematics part. And as usual, as we are aware that in every examination there are rules and instructions to guide the candidate, and in this one we have some rules here in which I might not be opportune to go through, but you can go through them. You can see them here. Alright, the first question we have here is, how many seconds make 3.5 minutes? So how many seconds make 3.5 minutes? So how are we going to do? The first thing to note here is that 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds. So we say 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds. Is that not? So we are converting this to seconds, right? So that means 3.5 minutes will give us what? X seconds. We don't know it, right? So what are we going to do? We cross multiply. So if you cross multiply, you have something like this. Cross multiply this, and 3.5 multiply 60. So we're going to have X times 1 then equals to 60 times what? 3.5. Can you see? So X times 1 is X equals to, now 60 times 3.5, we say 60 times, then convert this 3.5 into improper fraction by saying 3 times 2, right, plus the numerator. So 3 times 2 is 6, and the 6 plus 1 is 7. So we'll have 7 over 2. Remember that we can balance this one with 1. So we know that 2 here is 1, and 2 into 60 is 30. Is that not? So we are left with 30 times 7. Is that not? This 30 here times this 7. So let's multiply it and see. 30 times 7. So 7 times 0 is 0. And 7 times 3 is 21. So we have 210, right? So we said X is also 210 seconds. So that's how to go about this question. You first convert it, and how you're going to convert it? 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. Then you cross multiply. After cross multiplying, then cancel those things that can cancel, and you multiply them. So let's check our option if we have 210 seconds. So from our option now, our answer is B, 210 seconds. So let's go to second question, number 2. Alright, number 2 says, write in figure 12,700 2. So how are we going to do? The best approach for this question is to read it. Whenever you see comma, you stop. Okay, so we have 12,000. So write 12,000. That's 12 with how many zeros? 3 zeros. So we have 12, then 1,000. Can you see? 700. 700 have how many zeros? Remember the hundreds always have 2 zeros. So 0, 0, and 7. Then we have and 2, and it's 2 units, so it's just 2. So draw a line. We have, so adding this together, we're going to have 2, 0, 7, 2, and 1. So we have something like this. This is 12,702. So the answer is what? Let's see. Let's check it. So the answer is E, right? Very simple. So let's move to the next question. All right. Question 3 says write 30385 in words. So the best way to follow this is to write the place value on each digit. So we have the unit, tens, hundred, thousand, and tens of thousands. So using this, we have, this is what, 30,000, right? So we have 30,000. So we say comma, because there's comma here. 3 what, 100, 300, and what, 8 tens is what, 80, and 80 what, 85. 85. Good. So let's check the options. So the answer is C, 30,385. So let's move to the next question. All right, number 4 says that find the square root of 3 whole number 6 over 25. So what I'm going to do, of course, we will have to convert these to improper fraction, then we'll find the square root. So how can we convert to improper fraction? By saying 3 times the denominator, right? 3 times 25. So what is 3 times 25? So let's multiply 25 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15, put 5, carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, right? So we have 75. So 75 plus 6. So we add 6. So 5 plus 6 is actually 11. Put 1, carry 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. So we have 81. So converting this to improper fraction, we have what? 81 over 25. So we are asked to find the square root. And the square root of 81 is 9. And square root of 25, this 25 is 5. This is an improper fraction. We have to convert it to a mixed fraction. So how can you convert it? We say 9 divided by 5. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 divided by 5. So we'll count 5. We'll group it in 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So it will go 1 time remainder, what? Remainder 4. So the answer here is 1 whole number 4, the remainder here, over 5. So this is the answer. The square root of 3 whole number 6 over 25 is 1 whole number 4 over 5. So let's check our option. So based on our option, the answer is B, 1 whole number 4 over 5. This is it. So number 5, let's check it out. All right, number 5 now. The question says Bola deposited 5,000 naira in a savings bank account. If she paid an interest rate of 5% per annum for 2 years, how much is the simple interest? So from this question now, you can see that the principal, which is always signified P. So we have principal, which is usually P, is what? 5,000 naira. I see. And from the question we say that the interest is what? Interest rate of 5%. So the rate now, which is always R, we have rate, which is always R, is always in also, it's also always in percent. So we have 5%. Then the time, it was what? 2 years. So time, which is always T, is 2 years. And how much is the simple interest? Remember that the simple interest, we said we are looking for the simple interest, we don't know it. Know that simple interest is usually equals to principal PRT, that's principal times rate times time over 100. Is that not? So what is our principal? Our principal is 5,000 times what is our rate? 5. And how many? What is our time? 2 years, right? So multiply by 2 years over 100. So you know that these two zeros will cancel these two zeros. You are left with what? You are left with I is also 50 times 5 times 2. Is that not? So 50 times 5 is what? So let's multiply and see. 50 times 5. So 5 times 0 is 0 and 5 times 5 is 25. So times 2, these two, so multiply by 2. So 0 times 2 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10, so put 0, carry 1. Then 2 times 2 is 4, plus this one is 5. So our answer is what? 500. So the interest, the simple interest is equals to 500 naira. So let's go back to our option. Do we have 500 naira? Of course, yes, which is E. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 6 says change 4.5 days to hours. So how are we going to change 4.5 days to hours? So we know that how many hours make a day? Is that not? We know that 1 day is equals to what? 24 hours. Is that not? 1 day is equals to 24 hours. And we have how many days? We have 4.5 days. So 4.5 days will give us what? We don't know. We don't know the number of hours it will give us. So cross multiply. We have this, we multiply by this, right? So we have 1 times x equals to 24 times 4 whole number 1 over 2. 1 times x is x equals to 24 times, convert this one to improper fraction by saying 4 times 2 plus this 1, right? So 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9, so we have 9 over 2. Balance this one with 1, right? So 2 here is 1, 2 into 24 is 12. So we're left with what? This 12 times 9. 12 times 9. So our x is equals to, so let's multiply it. So 12 times 9, 12 by 9. Let's multiply and see. 9 times 2 is 18. Put what? 8, carry 1. So 9 times 1 is 9. And 9 plus 1 is 10. So we have 108. So our x is equals to 108 hours. So 4.5 days is equals to 108 hours. So let's check our options. Do you have 108 hours? Yes, that's E. Alright, question 7 says Igohu bought 5 books at 40 naira each. So we say at what? 40 naira each, right? 40 naira each, and sold them for 150 naira. So we said sold 150 naira. What is the loss? So how are we going to know? The best thing is to find the total amount for the 5 books. Remember that these 5 books cost what? 40 naira each, right? So if you want to know the total amount, is to just multiply the 5 times the 40. So the total amount now will be what? Is equal to books times amount. So what is the number of books? We have 5 times 40. So let's multiply times 40. 5 times 0 is 0 and 5 times 4 is 20. So the total amount is what? Total is 200 naira. Can you see? So that's the amount of the 5 books that Igohu bought. So how can we get the loss? So the loss now will be the purchase price, purchase minus what? The selling price. So how much did Igohu purchase the 5 books? we have seen it that the total of what 200 naira, right? So we say 200 minus the selling price. What the selling price is 150. Can you see? Sold it at 150. So we have 150. So let's subtract it up here. We said 200 minus 150 is what 0. You borrow 1 here, remain 1, you put it here is 10, right? 10 minus 5 is 5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So the loss is what 15 naira. Let's check the option. So from the option now, do we have 15 naira? Of course, yes. A. So A is the answer. So after buying 5 books for 14 naira each, which cost her 200 or cost him 200 naira, he decided to will decide to sell them at 150 naira. Remember that this 150 naira is for the entire book. That means Igbo who lost 15 naira, right? So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 8 says that Ado bought a pair of shoes for 5,000 naira. So we say purchase price, right? Is what 5,000 naira. You see? Then and sold it for 4,000 naira. So selling price, right, is 4,000 naira. 4,000 naira. What is the percentage loss? What is the percentage loss? So how can we calculate percentage loss? The formula is usually percentage loss is equals to purchase price minus selling price over purchase price times what 100, since it is in percentage over 1, right? So what is our purchase price? Our purchase price is 5,000 minus our selling price, which is 4,000. Our purchase price, which is 5,000, times 100 over 1. So if we subtract 5,000 minus 4,000, what are we going to have? Let's subtract and see. 5,000 minus 4,000 is what? 0, 0, 0. 5 minus 4 is 1,000. So we'll be left with what? So we have 1,000, right? So our percentage loss will be 5,000 minus 4,000 is 1,000 over our 5,000 times 100 over 1. Our cancellation now, these 3 zeros can cancel these 3 zeros, right? So we are left with this 5 here is 1. 5 into 100 is 20, because 100 divided by 5 is 20. So what's the answer? Our answer is 20%. 20% loss, right? So let's check our option. From our option here, our answer is B, 20%. So let's check the next question. All right, number 9 says, in a class, there are 30 girls. We have 30 girls and 45 boys, right? Find the ratio of girls to boys. As we know, that ratio is the same thing as saying division. So it's simply saying 30 over 45. So the girls to ratio, the boys. So let's reduce it to the lowest term. 5, 2 cannot go. So 5 here is 6 and 5 here is 9, right? 3 here is 2 and 3 here is 3. So we have what? 2 over 3. So therefore our answer will be what? 2 to ratio 3. 2 to ratio 3. So let's check our options. We have 2 to ratio 3. Yes, of course, B is our answer. Let's move to the next question. All right, number 10 says 1/4 of a number is 5. Find the number. So do we know the number? Of course, no. So we say let the number be equals what? X, since we don't know the number. So 1/4 of the x is equals to 5, right? We say 1/4, which is 1 over 4 of x is equals to 5. And what is the meaning of in mathematics is what? Times. So that's 1 over 4 times x is equals to 5. So balance 1 with 1, we can multiply this one by saying 1 times what? X. 1 times x over 4 times 1, right? 4 times 1 is equals to our 5. So, which is same as what? 1 times x is what? X over 4 times 1 is 4. Is equals to what? 5. Balance it with 1 and cross multiply. If cross multiply, what are we going to have? We have like this. So if you cross multiply, we're going to have x times 1 is x equals to 5 times 4 is 20. So our x is equals to what? 20. So the number is actually 20. So let's check our options. Of course, we have C as the answer. So let's go to number 11. So number 11 says a worker earns 4,000 per month. How much does he earn in a half year? Right? He earns what? 4,000 naira per month. Monthly, right? And how much does he earns in a half year? Is that not? So to know the earnings per year, we have to multiply the 4,000 by how many months? By 12 months, since there are what? 12 months in a year, right? So we say since 1 year is equals to 12 months. So earning per year now, per year will be what? Will be 4,000 times 12. Is that not? Since we have 12 months and he earns what? He earns 4,000 per month. So we're going to say 4,000 times 12. So let's see, times 12. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 4 is 8, right? So 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 0, 0, 1 times 0, 0, and 1 times 4 is 4. So if you add it, you're going to have what? 0, 0, 0, 8, 4. So this is his earnings in year. So this is his earning yearly. So say yearly, right? But remember, the question says, how much does he earn in 1/2 a year? That's half a year, right? So in order for you to know half a year, you divide this 48,000 by 2. So 48,000 by 2, let's go. 48,000 divided by 2. You know that 2 here is 1. 2 into 48 is 24. Then we have 0, 0, 0. So his earnings in a half year it will be 24,000. So in half year will be what? 24,000. Right? So let's check the answer. Do we have 24,000? Of course we have 25,000, which is what? C. Right? So let's move to the next question. Question 12 says, what must be subtracted from 3.10 to have 1.001? What must be subtracted? Of course we don't know. So let the number be what? X. X, right? So what must be subtracted? So from 3.1. So we said we don't know it. So we said 3.10 minus the number that we don't know, which is x, that will give us 1.001. Is that not? So using the knowledge of algebra, so we're going to move the numbers to one side, right? And the alphabet to the other side. So if you move the alphabet to this side and the number to the other side, remember that whenever a number or an alphabet cross an equality sign, the sign will change. If it is plus, it will change to minus, and if it is minus, it will change to plus. This one that has crossed, it will be what? Now this one now will change to minus. Why? Because it's having an invisible plus. Any number, remember that any number that you see without any sign, it's trying to tell you that it's having invisible positive sign, which is plus. So it's going to be 3.10 minus 1.001 is equals to this x now, which is having minus, will now change to plus. So we'll come here, we'll have x, right? So let's subtract it. In subtracting decimal numbers, you write it 3.10. Then for this one, we'll write the point so that we'll not be confused. Then we have 1. Then after this point, we have 0, and we have 0, and we have 1. Are we there? Then whenever you're subtracting a decimal number, always balance the empty space with 0 so that to avoid confusion. So let's subtract it. 0 minus 1, of course, is impossible. So we'll have to borrow. So if we borrow from here, remains 0. Put it 1 here, is now 10. Is that not? So borrow the 10 from 10 again, remains 9. Remain 9. Put it for this on 10, right? So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 0 is 9. And 0 minus 0 is 0. Point. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the answer is 2.099. So let's check our options. Do we have 2.099? Yes, which is D. D is our answer. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 13 says that what is the cost of 60 oranges if 4 cost 20 naira? Right? So we don't know the cost of 60 oranges. We don't know, right? But we know that 4 oranges cost 20 naira. So 4 oranges is cost what? 20 naira. So there are two ways to approach this. The first way is to calculate the number of one orange. Of course, you can get the amount of one orange. After getting the amount of one orange, then you multiply it by 60 oranges. You will get the amount for 60 oranges. So I'm going to show you the two ways. The first way we say that is to get the number of one orange. So if 4 oranges will cost 20 naira, of course, one orange will cost 20 divided by 4, right? So for one orange, so we'll say for one orange now, we'll say 20 naira, since 4 of them cost 20 naira divided by 4, right? So 20 naira, this 20 naira divided by 4 oranges. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 20 divided by 4 is, of course, 5 naira. So each orange will cost 5 naira. So in order for us to get 60 oranges, so cost of 60 oranges will be what? Will be 60 times these 5, since each of them will cost 5 naira. So we want to get that of 60 oranges, we'll say 60 times 5, right? So let's multiply it up here. 60 times 5, 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 6 is 30. So can you see? So 60 oranges will cost 300 naira. So this will be 300 naira. Of course, let's check the option. The answer is C, right? So let's see the second method, whether we're going to get the same thing. So using the second method now, we are aware that 4 oranges will cost what? 20 naira. Is that not? Then what you will say is that 60 oranges will cost how much? We don't know. Will cost X naira. Of course, we don't know. So what I'm going to do, you cross multiply. If you cross multiply this, you have 60 times what? 20 and X times 4, right? So we have 4 times X, right? This 4, since it's cross multiply, 4 times X equals to 60 times 20. 60 times 20. 4 times X is, of course, 4X equals to 60 times 20. So let's multiply it down here. 60 times 20. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. And 2 times 6 is 12. So add this, you're going to have 1,200, right? 1,200. So divide both sides by 4 and 4. Can you see? So 1,200 divided by 4. You know that 4 here is 1. 4 into 12 is 3 times. Then your 0, 0 here, up here, right? So the answer is 300. So can you see it's the same answer with the one we put in, which is same thing as 300. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 14 says arrange the following fractions in ascending order. So what is the meaning of ascending order? Ascending means from what? From the smallest to the biggest, right? So we're going to arrange it from smallest to the biggest. So we have 3 over 4, comma, 5 over 8, comma, 7 over 12, comma, and 2 over 3. So, of course, you know that it's not possible for us to arrange this fraction by mere inspection. Why? Because all the denominators are different, and we can only arrange fractions when the denominators are the same. So the question is, how are we going to make the denominators to be the same? Only with the use of LCM. So we're going to take the lowest or the least common multiple of the denominators. So we said, draw the line, say LCM. So of course we're going to take the LCM of 4, draw a line, 8, draw a line, 12, draw a line, and 3. So draw a line like this, and line here. So the lowest prime number that can go here is 2. So 2 here. So we say 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 3 divided by 2, of course, it will go both there will be remainder. So we write the 3 back, right? Another, can 2 still go? Yes. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 3 divided by 2, of course, write the 3 back, right? What can go? 2 can still go. 2 divided by 1, write 1 down. 2 divided by 2, 1. 3, write the 3 back. The 3 back because 3 cannot go. So lastly, 2 cannot go. Next prime number is 3. We have 1. 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So what is our LCM? Our least or lowest common multiple is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, right? This one's here is the one we're going to use. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. So the least common multiple is 24. So coming back here, we're going to write 24. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. Is that not? Then 6 times 3 is 18. Then we write 18 here. Comma. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. So write 15 here. Comma. 24 divided by 12 is 2. And 2 times 7 is 14. Then we write 14. Then 24 divided by 3 is 8. And 8 times 2 is 16. So write 16. So down here, we're going to write this as all these numbers as the numerator, and this one will be the common denominator to all of them. So we have 18 over 24, comma, 15 over 24, comma, 14 over 24, comma, and 16 over 24. So now we can see that all of them are having the same denominator. But remember, this is not the fraction we are going to arrange. Rather, these are the fraction we are supposed to arrange. But we are going to use these ones as reference point. So now, among this one, which one has the smallest numerator? Remember, we're going to arrange from smallest to biggest. So which one has the smallest numerator? Of course, the smallest numerator is 14. And 14 is for this, and this is for this fraction. That's 7 over 12. So the smallest fraction is 7 over 12. So we're going to write 7 over 12, comma. Then after 14 is what? Is 15, which is for this, and for this fraction, 5 over 8. So we have 5. The next one is what? 5 over 8. Then after 15, then it is 16, which is this, and this one is for this, and is for this fraction, 2 over 3. So the next fraction is 2 over 3. Then lastly, the biggest one is 18, which is from here, and it's 3 over 4. So the biggest fraction is 3/4. So this is the arrangement in ascending order, right? So let's check our option if you have something like this. Of course, our answer is going to be C, because C is having the same thing we have on the right hand side. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 15 says that what is the place value of 5 in 504.13? So what's the place value of 5? This is 5. So remember that in place value, we have the whole number part and the decimal number part. And the way you name the whole number part is different from the decimal number part. So in the whole number part, we start with what? Unit. Then we have tens. And we have what? 100. But in the decimal number part, we don't start from units. We rather start from what? From tens, and it doesn't, and it's no more tens, but it's what? Tenths. It ends up with what? THS. So it's going to be what? Tenths. And this one is going to be hundredths. Can you see? So, but our main focus is on the 5, and the 5 is what? Hundreds, right? So our answer is what? 500 hundreds. 500. So let's check our option. Of course, the answer is A. But you can see this. This one is meant to confuse you. This one is trying to tell you with this THS is on the what? Decimal number part. And remember that our 5 is on the whole number part. So it's just to confuse. So you have to watch out and be careful. So next question. All right, question 16 says in a school there are 478 boys. 478 boys and 329 girls. 329 girls. How many pupils are in the school altogether? So we are just going to what? Add the boys plus the girls. So let's just add them. So 8 plus 9 is going to give us 17. So put 7, carry 1, right? So 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So put 0, carry 1. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. So we have 807 pupils altogether. So it's just to add the boys plus the girls. So let's check our option. Do we have anything like 807? Of course, the answer is what? D. So let's move to the next question. All right, number 17 states that the differences between two numbers is 60, right? If the smaller number is 90, what is their sum? Can you see? So now remember that we don't know these two numbers at first. So we say let the numbers be x and y, right? So the question says the difference, and remember that in mathematics when we talk of difference we're talking about what? Subtraction. When you subtract the two numbers from each other, the answer is what? 60. So we said x minus y is equals to 60. Is that not? But remember we said the question says that if the smaller is 90, so let's make y smaller because it's the one subtracting. This y smaller is the one subtracting from x. So we're going to say y now is equals to 90. So it's going to be what? X now, instead of y now, we're going to write 90 since y is equals to 90 minus 90 is equals to 60. Is that not? So we have to find their sum. Okay, so if you find their sum now, it's going to be x is equals to this one. Now we'll move to this line, and once it crosses the equality sign, remember that this minus is going to be what? plus. Is that not? So we're going to have 60 plus 90. So let's add it. 60 plus 90, we're going to have 0. 9 plus 6 is, so the sum of the numbers is 150. So let's check our option. So from our options now, the answer is D, right? So let's move to the next question. All right, question 18 says that find the sum of these figures. We have 4.02, 13.9 and 7.1. Okay, so let's arrange them. Arranging them is very important. So, and we're going to arrange it in such a way that the points will be aligned. That is, they will be on a straight line. So we have 4.02. Then here, put the point first to avoid confusion. Then we put 3 under this, and the 1 is here, right? Then we have 9. Are we there? Then 7.1, we have put the point here, then put the 7 and put the 1. So if you like, you can balance these ones with 0, right? If you balance them with 0, draw the line. Remember, it's sum. Sum is addition. So we add them. 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 is 2. Then 9 plus 1 is 10. You put 0 carry 1. Remember that we have our point here. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. And 8 plus 7 is 15. So put 5, carry 1, right? So 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0 is 2. So we have 25.02 as our answer. So let's check our option. From the option now, the answer is C. Simple, right? So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 19. It says that a motorist travel at 72 kilometers per hour. What is measured in kilometer per hour? Of course, is what? Speed, right? For 2.5 hours. That's time, right? How many kilometers has he covered? So remember we said that the motorist travel at what? 72 kilometers per hour. Whenever you see kilometer per hour, know that it is speed. So we say speed is equals to 72 kilometer per hour. Then time in hours, right? So we have time is equals to 2.5 hours. So the question says how many kilometers has he covered? So remember the formula that says that speed is equals to distance over time. Is that not? And from here we can get cross multiply distance times 1. So we have distance is equals to speed times time. So if distance is equals to speed times time, of course we have speed here, right? And we have time here. So we're going to multiply them, right? So we have speed, which is what? 72 kilometers per hour. Times time, which is this. So, but it will be better if we convert this time to improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So we're going to have 5 over 2 over 2, right? So balance this one with 1. So you know that 2 here is 1. And 2 into 72 is 36. Can you see? So we're going to multiply 36 times 5. So 36, so distance is equal to 36 times 5. So let's multiply it up here. We said 36 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Put 0 carry 3. 5 times 3 is 15. And 15 plus 3 is 18. So we're going to have 18. So the answer is 180 kilometers. So we have what? Distance equals 180 kilometers. So that's the number of kilometers that the motorist covered. 180 kilometers. So let's check our options. So from the option, the answer is C. Simple. So don't forget the formula. Speed is equal to distance over time, or distance is equal to speed times time. Of course, you can also get time is equal to what? Distance over speed. So let's move to the next question. Question 20 says that given that x plus 3 is equals to 12, find the square root of x minus 2. So from the equation now we have x plus 3 is equals to 12, and we have to find root x minus 2. So the first thing to do is to solve this equation. So how can we solve this equation? Remember that when we have alphabets, we take them to one side and numbers to the other side. And whenever anything crosses the equal sign, the sign, if it is positive, it changes to negative, and if it is negative, it will change to positive. So that means this 3 will move to this side, meet its brother, a number, and the x will be left alone, right? So we'll have x is equals to 12 minus, because this is plus, to change to minus 3, minus 3. Then we have x is equals to 12 minus 3 is what? Of course, is 9, right? So we have gotten our x as 9. But remember, the question said we should find this, right? So whenever we see x, which is or equals to 9, we'll put 9 there. So find root x minus 2. So instead of x now, we're going to write this 9. So we'll have root 9 minus 2. And root 9 is 3 minus 2. Can you see the square root of 9 is 3? So remember that we have this minus 2 here, and 3 minus 2 is equals to 1. So the answer is 1. So let's check our option. Of course, from our option, the answer is D. So let's move to the next question. So question 21 states that which of the following is not divisible by 5? It's not divisible by 5. Remember that any number that ends with 0 and 5 will always be divisible by 5. That's according to the law of divisibility. So any number that ends with 0 and 5 will always be divisible by 5. But the question says which of the following is not, right? So let's check our option. Which one did not end with 0 or with 5 will be our answer. We have A is 45, and 45 ends up with 5, so it's divisible by 5. We have B 130. 130 ends up with 0, that means it's divisible by 5. Then C 265, it ends with 5, right? So that means it's divisible by 5. D is 504, D is 554, and it did not end with 0 or 5. So that means D is the answer without even checking it, because E is 690, which ends up with 0. Right? That means it's divisible by 5. So let's check the next question. Alright, question 22 says that 1/3 of a number is 9. What is the number? So what is the meaning of 1/3? Huh? Do you know the... So the question is 1/3 of a number. Do we know the number? No. So let the number be what? Be x. Can you see? So 1/3 of a number. So 1/3 of x. So what is the meaning of 1/3? 1/3. 1/3 of x is equals to what? Is equals to 9. Can you see? And remember that of in mathematics is times. So that's 1/3 times x is equals to 9. So you can balance this one with 1, right? So 1 times x is what? Of course, is x. 1 times x over 3 times 1 is, of course, 3. So it's 3 times 1. We say it's equals to what? 9, right? So 1 times x is x over 3 times 1 is 3. Is equals to 9. So balance this one with 1 and cross multiply. So we're going to have x times 1 and 9 times 3. So we're going to have what? X times 1 is equals to 3 times 9, right? X times 1 is x, equals to 3 times 9 is 27, right? So our x is 27. So let's check our option. Do we have anything like 27? Of course, is E. So the correct answer is E, number 20. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 23 says that Ohaniere, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, is 20 years and her sister is X younger. How old is Ohaniere's sister? Are we there? So remember we said Ohaniere's age is what? Is 20. Is that not? And her sister is X. Is that not? So her sister now, remember we said that her sister is younger. How old is Ohaniere? It's just for you to say that the sister's age will simply be what? Ohaniere's age minus the sister's age, X. Yeah, so the answer is 20 minus X years. Are we there? So let's check the options. So from the options now, the answer is, can you see it? So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 24 says simplify, open bracket, 1 whole number 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3, close bracket, divide by into 2 over 3 plus 1 over 2. So the first thing is to check if we have any mixed fraction, then we'll now convert it to improper fraction because it will be easier for us. So we have, of course, we have 1 here. We say 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have 3 over 2 minus, we have our 1 over 3, close the bracket, divide by into 2 over 3 plus 1 over 2. So since the denominators are different, open the brackets up, deal with individual bracket. So we have LCM, find the LCM since the denominators are different. So the denominators, the LCM of the denominators will be 6, the LCM of 2 and 3, or simply multiply the denominators. The same thing here will be 6. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So we have 9. Bring down your minus sign down, you have minus 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 1 is 2. So we have 2. Same thing here. 6 divided by 3 is 2 and 2 times 2 is 4. We have 4. Bring down your plus. 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 3 times 1 is 3. So we have 3. Right? So remember we have our division line. So 9 minus 2 is 7. So we have 7 over 6 divided by 4 plus 3 is 7 over 6. Can you see? So now, whenever we are dividing, you are dividing a fraction. The best thing to do is to take reciprocal. So if you take reciprocal, this division will change to multiplication, and this one now, this fraction will turn upside down. So we're going to have 7 over 6 times now. Then this, instead of 7 over 6, is going to be 6 over 7. Can you see? So 7 here is 1, 7 here is 1. 6 here is 1, 6 here is 1. So the answer is 1 times 1 over 1 times 1, which is equal to what? 1 over 1 and it's equal to 1. So the answer is 1. So our options, our answer here is C. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 25 says that an aeroplane traveled to town X from Y at 245 km per hour for 2 hours. What is the distance covered? Remember in the previous questions, remember in the previous question I told you that whenever you see anything in kilometer per hour, it means speed. So we say speed. The speed is equal to what? 245 km per hour. Is that not? And 2 hours, that's our time, which is what? 2 hours, right? So remember that we have a formula. We are looking for what? Distance. The question says, what is the distance? So distance, we don't know it, right? So remember that we have something, we have a formula which says that speed is equal to distance over time. And in order for you to get distance, you have to cross multiply. You cross multiply, balance this one with 1. You have this here and we have this here. So that means distance will be speed times time. So what is our speed? Our speed is 245. And what is our time? Our time is 2 hours, right? So that's times 2. So let's multiply it. 245 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10, put 0, carry 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. And 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer is 490 kilometers. So that's our distance. So let's check our options. Do you have anything like 490 kilometers? Of course, yes. C is the answer. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 26 says, find the value of the expression a raised to power 2 minus b if a is equal to minus 2 and b is equal to minus 1. So this is a very simple question. What you need to do here is that you're going to substitute all these values for a and for b in this equation. I see. So wherever you see a in this equation, you're going to put 2 minus 2, and wherever you see b in this equation, you're going to put minus 1. So let's give it a try. Now we know that a is minus 2. We're going to substitute it. So we're going to have, instead of a square, we're going to say minus 2 square, right? Then we have minus. What is our b? Our b is minus 1. So instead of b, we write minus 1, right? So minus 1. So what is the meaning of this minus 2 square? Is what? Minus 2 times minus 2. Can you see? Remember that it's not 2 times 2. It's not 2 times 2, but it's minus 2 in 2 places. So minus times minus. Can you see this? Minus times minus is plus. Remember that minus times minus is plus. Minus times plus is minus. Plus times minus is minus, and plus times plus is plus. So whenever you have two different signs, it's going to give you multiplying, is going to give you minus sign, and whenever you have two same sign, will always give you plus. So minus times minus is plus. 2 times 2 is 4. Then you have this minus times minus 1, right? It's going to give you plus as well. So we have plus what? Plus 1. So using number line, you can use number line. How are we going to do? You have a number line. So using number line now, we have 0, we have plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, and so on. Then we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 1, and so on. So on left hand side, whenever you're subtracting, whenever it's a negative number, you move to the left hand side, and whenever it's a positive number, you move to the right hand side. That's why you can see plus and minus. So from our question, from our solution now, we have plus 4, right, plus 1. So where is plus 4? This is plus 4 and plus 1. That means we're going to move one step to the right. Plus 1, right? So what's the answer? Our answer is plus 5, which is same thing as 5. So let's check our option. If we have 5 or plus 5, of course the answer is E. Good. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 27 says, find the volume of a cylinder with radius, so radius 4 centimeters, and height of 14 centimeters. So height 14 centimeters. So the question is, what is the formula of the volume of a cylinder? So the volume of a cylinder is given as volume is equals to pi r square h. Of course, we know that this pi is always a constant, which is always given as what? Is given as 22 over 7, right? So we say pi is equal to 22 over 7. So substituting the volume into the formula, we have volume equals to pi r square h, where pi is 22 over 7, so we'll say 22 over 7 times what is our r? Our r is the radius, and we have two of them. Can you see? So since the radius is 4 centimeters and we have two of them, we'll say 4 times 4, right? And we have times the h here, which is the height, and the height is 14 centimeters. So this one will be 14. So you can balance them with 1, 1, and 1. So we know that 7 here is 1 and 7 here is 2. Now we are left with 22 times 4 times 4 is 16. So we say times 16 times this 2 times 2, right? So 22 times 16 times 2, of course, if you check it, if you multiply, you're going to get 704 centimeter square. Of course, the answer is A. So let's move to number 28. Right, question 28 says that solve 17 plus 2a equals to a plus 7. So we have 17 plus 2a equals to a plus 7. So what are we going to do? We're going to collect like terms. That is, all those ones with a will move to one side and of the equality sign, and those one that doesn't have a will move to the other side of the equality sign. And remember, whenever a number or an alphabet crosses the equality sign, the sign, if it is positive, will change to negative. That is, when it is plus, it will change to minus, and if it is minus, it will change to plus. So let's move this one, this 17, let's move it to this place, and this a, let's move it to this place. Can you see? So if we do that, we're going to have 2a. Now this a that is coming will be minus because it's having invisible plus here, right? So we have minus a is equals to 7. Now this 17 now will come here, will be minus 17. Minus 17. Can you see? So now 2a minus a is just like saying two fishes minus a fish, right? 2 fishes minus a fish. So 2a minus a, of course, is a. 2 fishes minus a fish is, it will give you a fish. So equals to 17 minus 7. Is that not? If you use your number line, you're going to get what? You're going to get minus 10 as the answer, right? Since this one is plus 7, you move. So let's use the number line and see. We know we have plus 7, which is on the right hand side, then minus 17. That means we're going to move 17 steps to the left since it is minus 17, right? So we'll go 1 in 17. Can you see the reason why it is minus 10? So we're getting minus 10. So the answer is minus 10. So let's check our options. From our option here is A, minus 10. So let's move to question 29. Alright, question 29 says, if 4 over x is equals to 2 over 3, what is the value of x over 2? So we have 4 over x equals to 2 over 3, right? We have to find the value, find x over 2. So what are we going to do? The best way to solve this is to cross multiply. Whenever you have equality sign between fractions, just cross multiply them. So if you cross multiply this, you're going to have 2 times x equals to 4 times 3. Can you see? And 2 times x is 2x equals to 4 times 3 is 12. So divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is what? 2. 2. So 12 divided by 2 is what? 6. So x is equals to 6. So remember that this is not our answer. Why? Because we are asked to find x over 2. So now we're going to say find x over 2. But remember that x is equals to what? 6. So wherever we see x, we're going to put 2. So it's going to be 6 over 2. Instead of x, we're going to write 6, right? So 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. So the answer is 3. So let's check our options. The answer is A. Alright, question 30 says, find the area of the shaded portion in the diagram. So you can see that the portion is having two rectangles. You can see that this one is the length of the big rectangle and this is the width, right? Then this is the length of the small rectangle and this is the width of the small rectangle. So let's understand it. Big or large? There's a big rectangle. So in the big rectangle, we know that the length is what? 8 centimeters and the width is 5 centimeters. Can you see? Is that not? Then for the small, right, the length is 4 centimeters. Can you see? And the width is 3 centimeters. You said the length is 4 centimeters and the width is 3 centimeters. So now, how can we find the shaded portion? So the shaded portion now will be area of big minus area of small. So let's calculate the area of the big. We know that the area of a rectangle is area is equals to length times breadth, right? Or length times width. And what is our length? Our length is 8 times what is our width or breadth is 5. So for the area of large will be length times breadth or width is 8 times 5, and 8 times 5 is 40 centimeter square, right? Then for the small now, you know that area is equal to length times breadth or width. And what is the length? The length is 4 centimeters times the width is 3 centimeters. So the area here will give you 12, right? So now let's come back to this place. The area of big is 40 minus the area of small, which is 12. So 40 minus 12 is going to be what? So let's subtract it. 40 minus 12. This one here, we have to borrow. We have 3, 1. 10 minus 2 is 8. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So the answer is 28. We have 28 centimeter square. So that's the area of the shaded portion. So let's check the options. We have 28. Yes, D is the answer. Correct. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 31 says the sum of all angles in a triangle is equals to, of course, is 180 degrees, be it equilateral, isosceles, scalene, right angle triangle. The sum of all the angles will always be 180 degrees. So the answer is D, 180 degrees. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 32 says, what is the value of x in the diagram below? So this question is almost the same thing with the previous question we've seen. We are aware that the sum of angles in a triangle is always 180 degrees. That is, if you add all the angles in that triangle, you're supposed to have 180 degrees. Is that not? So, but in this question, there is a little secret. There is an expert given to us that this one here, can you see this angle? Means that it is what? 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. Whenever you see something done like this, it's trying to tell you that it's 90 degrees. So just put 90 degrees here so that you will not be confused. You can put 90 degrees here, right? So we've put 90 degrees now. We know that 50 plus 90 plus x will give us what? 180 degrees, because sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So following that one, we're going to say what? 50 plus 90 plus x, right, is equals to 180 degrees. So if you add all of them, it should give us 180 degrees. So 90 plus 50, so say 90 plus 50, 0, 9 plus 5 is 14, so it's 140. So 140 degrees plus our x here is equals to 180 degrees, right? So collecting items, numbers will move to one side and alphabet will move to another side. So this one will move to this place, and once it moves, remember it's having invisible plus here, it's going to change to minus. Is that not? So we're going to have x is equals to 180 degrees minus 140 degrees. So let's subtract it. 180 minus 140, subtract. So 0, 8 minus 4 is 4, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So the answer is 40 degrees. So x is equals to 40 degrees. So let's check our option. We have 40 degrees. Yes, B. So B is the answer. So let's move to question 33. Alright. Question 33 says, if the area of a square is 36 centimeters, find the perimeter of the square. So we already have the area given as 36 centimeter square, but we have to find the perimeter. Can you see? So before you find the perimeter, of course you know that perimeter is equals to 4 times L, right? But we don't know L, but we have the area. So how can we get L? Of course we can get the L because we know that area is equals to L square, or L times L, right? And this A has been given us 36. So wherever we see A, we'll put 36. So it's something as saying 36 is equals to L square. So how can we get L? That's the length, right? Remember that before we get the perimeter, we have to get L. So we have to use what we have to get what we want. So how can we get L? Moving this square is by taking square root of both sides. So whatsoever you do to this side, you have to do it to this side. So these two will cancel this square. You're left with what? L. Then the square root of 36 is 6, right? So therefore L is equals to 6, right? So going back to this formula, we said that perimeter is equals to what? We will say, remember, perimeter is equals to 4 times L, and we have gotten our L as what? As 6 now. So we put, instead of L, we put 6, and 4 times 6 is equals to what? Is equals to 24. So our perimeter is 24 centimeters. So let's check the options. Right, from our option, and the answer is B. So let's move to question 34. Alright, question 34 says, what is the value of x in the diagram below? So the question is, what type of triangle is this? This is a right angle triangle because it's having 90 degrees in it. So how do we solve the side of right angle triangle? Of course, there is what we call the Pythagoras rule, right? And we know that the right angle triangle is having 3 sides. This side is called the hypotenuse, right? Which is always the longest side. The hypotenuse. This one here is called the opposite, and this one is called the adjacent. So the Pythagoras rule says that the hypotenuse, that's the longest side, square of the hypotenuse is equals to the square of the opposite. You square the opposite plus the square of the adjacent. Can you see? So using this formula, we can get our x. Why? Because we know that our hypotenuse is 5 centimeters. So we say 5 square because it's square, right? Then it's equals to, what is our opposite? Of course, our opposite is x square, plus what is our adjacent? Our adjacent is 3 square. So collect items, alphabet move to one side and numbers move to one side. Of course, this 3 will move to where 5 is, right? Move where 5 is. So we're going to have, and it's going to change to minus. So we're going to have 5 square minus 3 square is equals to x square, right? 5 square has 5 times 5, and 5 times 5 is 25, right? Minus 3 square, which is 3 in 2 places, 3 times 3 is 9, is equals to x square. So 5 minus, so 5 minus 9, so 25 minus 9. So 9 minus 5. So 5 minus 9 is not possible. Put 1 here, carry 1 with 15. And 15 minus 9 is 6. So we have, remember our 1. Remember we are subtracting. So 15 minus 9 is 6, and 1, bring the 1 there. So we have 16 is equals to x squared. So what are we going to do? Remember the previous question, if you are removing a square, you have to take the square root of both sides. So take the square root of both sides. If you take the square root of both sides, these 2 will cancel this square root, and the square root of 16 is of course 4. So 4 is equals to x. So therefore x is equals to 4. We say if a is equals to b, b is the same thing as a, right? So if 4 is equals to x, x will be equals to 4. So let's check our option if we have 4. Of course the answer is going to be b. Are we there? So let's check the next question. Alright, question 35 says that the longest side of a right angle triangle is known as. This is a simple question because we've already seen it in the previous question, in question 35, where we said that a right angle triangle is always having 3 sides, something like this. And this is known as the hypotenuse because this is the hypotenuse, always looking, this angle is always facing it. So this is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. And this is called the what? Opposite. And this is called the adjacent. So the longest side is always the hypotenuse. So the answer is, from our option now, the answer is C, hypotenuse. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 36 states that find the value of x in the diagram. Remember that the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. Is that not? Sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. So since sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees, that is, if you add this plus this 59 should give you 180 degrees because this is a straight line. Is that not? So we're going to say x plus 59 is equals to 180 degrees, because if you add x plus 59 should give you 180 degrees. So collect items, that means this one will move to where number is, so we'll be left with x. So x is equals to 180 minus 59. So let's subtract and see. 180 minus 59. 0 minus 9, of course, impossible. Remain what? Remain 7. Give me 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 5 now is 2, and we have our 1. So our x is equals to 121 degrees. So that's the answer. So let's check our option. So the answer is D. So let's move to the next question. So question 37 says find the perimeter of a triangle with sides 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters. Find the perimeter of a triangle with sides 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters. So let's assume you have a triangle, and one of the sides is 5 centimeters, the other one is 7 centimeters, and the third one is 9 centimeters. So what are we going to do? We know that perimeter is just the addition of all the sides. So the perimeter will be equals to A plus B plus C. That's the first side plus the second side plus the third side. So we're going to have 5 plus 7 plus 9, and 5 plus 7 plus 9 is actually 21. If you add it, we're going to have 21 now centimeters. So that is the perimeter. So let's check it. We have 21 centimeters. Yes, D is the answer. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 38 says in the diagram below, find the square root of z. Right? So from the diagram now, you can see that there is what? 4 here, 4 centimeters, right? So if we have 4 centimeters there, remember it's a square. Is that not? Since it's a square, all the sides are always the same. So that means this z also will be 4, right? Since all the sides are the same, this z will also be 4. So if that's the case, indirectly the question is trying to tell you to find the square root of 4, and the square root of 4 is what? Is 2. Simple. So let's check the options. So from the option now, the answer is A. Simple. Question 39 says that what is the mode of the score? 1, 3, 2, 3, 5. Right? So the question is, what is mode? Mode is actually the data that appeared most, or that has the highest frequency. So we say mode, we say appear most, or we can say what? Higher frequency or highest frequency. And which one appear most? Of course is 3. We have 2 of the 3, so the mode is 3. So from our option now, the answer is D. So very simple. So let's move to the next question. Alright, the last question we have here is find the average of the following set of numbers. So we have 3, we have 2, we have 6, we have 1, and we have 3. So what is average? Another word for average is actually mean. So you're going to add all the numbers, divide by their numbers. How many of them we have? Of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to divide the sum of the numbers by the number of the numbers. So we have 3 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 3, all divided by how many of them? 5. Can you see? So 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12. And 12 plus 3 is 15. So I'm going to give you 15 over 5. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. So this is the average, or we can say this is the mean. So let's check our options. Our option, the answer is C. Alright. If you have been following till the end, congratulations. By now, I think you are clear about some things that you are doubting, and you can now measure your weaknesses and your strength, right? But mind you, learning doesn't stop here. You can explore more questions and see. Remember that if you want to score high in your exams, one of the secret is to review the past questions. At least if you can study 3 years, you will be very comfortable. We know that the question might not be the same, but at least you will have the picture of what you may encounter in the exam hall. So remember, if you want to support this channel, you can share, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.